yo, what's up, people? We is back. We is back. We got some Diddy news, y'all. Y'all, this Diddy case is moving fast. Moving fast. And it look like it's moving in the direction of the defense. Straight up. Diddy legal team is carrying this case. Carrying it. So everybody that was writing Diddy off, man, he ready to go to prison the rest of his life. Man, not so fast. I guess it depends on who you watching. You know, if you watching Long Crime Network or somebody else, you probably would think that yo Diddy is ready to go to prison. That's probably what you would think. But man, Diddy ain't ready to go to jail, John Doe. Hey, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. He could be guilty as all outdoors. But if you can't prove it, then what good is it? You know? You gotta prove it. Gotta prove it, y'all. And the FEDS is making a lot of wild allegations. See, what's going on right now, y'all? What's going on right now, y'all, is the FEDS is playing. They've been playing dirty, but they're getting caught. They keep getting caught playing dirty. They got caught. They were just in court the other day playing dirty. Let me show y'all this before I get to what I'm ready to read. Let me show y'all what happened in court yesterday. They leaking videos. They are leaking basically leaking evidence. Leaking sex tapes. They doing a whole bunch of illegal activity, man. Whole lot of it. And Diddy legal team is on top of them every time. Wait till they find out, right? That Homeland Security or the FBI leaked that Cassie video. Wait till they find that out. Like what I'm saying, yo, it's so many ways. Like this case probably not even gonna make it to trial. Sunday best, what it is. This what's up, King Hayes? This case might not even make it to trial, man. Because they doing so much illegal things way before you even get to the trial process. Way before you even get to it. Hold on. What the fuck is that article? Hold on. They playing dirty, y'all. And see what happens is they normally get away with playing dirty. Diddy accuses prosecutors of altering assault video to make the judge think he's dangerous. Like, yo, they're getting caught at every angle. Every angle. They're getting caught. They're not getting away with it. Diddy is claiming that federal prosecutors use unfair tactics by showing the judge an edited video of the incident with Cassie, making him seem like a dangerous man. According to a new report by TMZ, Diddy and his lawyers submitted new documents before his bail hearing, which is set for Friday. And I'm gonna read his we're gonna go into the bail documents tonight. Alleging that prosecutors misrepresented key information and hid important details, including claims of editing the timeline in March 2016 surveillance video. They argue that the government possesses the full version of the surveillance video, likely the one that was publicly released, but instead altered the sequence of events to present what they consider their strongest evidence of threat and obstruction. Regarding the violence shown in the video, Diddy asserts that he did nothing. He did not drag Cassie down the hallway or throw a vase at her. Instead, he claims he only threw the contents of the vase in her direction. He describes the video as merely a sad glimpse into a decade-long consensual relationship, and insists it does not indicate any coercion or involvement in sex trafficking. Diddy's main claim is that prosecutors are attempting to portray him as more dangerous than he really is in order to persuade the judge to keep him in custody until his trial. That's exactly what they're doing. We went through this yesterday. Let's see what they're saying about it. See if they're telling the truth or not.
All right, let's get right to Fox 5's Lisa Alvarez, who just left the courtroom where it all went down. Lisa, what's going on?
Well, Stephen, Natasha, if there was any doubt, it's all gone now that the pressure is mounting and the stakes are getting higher in this federal sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs. This afternoon, we received a last-minute notice from the U.S. Attorney's Office saying that there would be an emergency hearing right here at the federal courthouse at 500 Pearl Street, and new allegations, but this time being made by Diddy's defense against prosecutors. Diddy's defense team slammed prosecutors for what they say was a violation of attorney-client privilege and a violation of Diddy's Fourth Amendment constitutional right against unreasonable searches and seizures. It all goes back to that raid by the FBI, DEA, and other agencies on the Metropolitan Detention Center, known as MDC, in late October. That's where Diddy has been locked down. Diddy's team claimed the raid, which the FEDS said was to clean out the notorious jail of weapons, drugs, and other contraband, was actually an excuse to get a look in his cell.
Silverado HD and America's most awarded heavy-duty.
Yo, so we already know that the judge ruled in favor of Diddy. Oh shit, my bad.
Full of legal pads. Prosecutors admitted the investigator, who was under the jurisdiction of the BOP, that's the Bureau of Prisons, took photos of 19 pages from Diddy's notes, and those ended up with the prosecutors. The prosecutors said they were necessary to an ongoing secret grand jury investigation looking to bring new additional charges against Combs for witness intimidation. Diddy's team wanted the whole case thrown out, or at least a new prosecution team put in place, but instead, the judge ordered the prosecutors to hand back any notes that they had and also to destroy any copies of those notes as well. Now, everybody will be back in court here on Friday afternoon for Diddy's third attempt at trying to get bail in this case, with a new bail package and probably some new elements thrown in. Reporting live from federal court,
yeah, so
I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Back to you.
We're gonna read that bail package tonight, but today we got some more information, man. Yo, Diddy defense team is on their ass. They ain't playing. The fuck? Hold on, man. Yeah, they're not playing, man. All these dirty tactics that they're getting away with, what they normally get away with, they're not getting away with this time. But the FEDS is alleging that Diddy was involved in the 2011 kidnapping. 2011 kidnapping. And I ain't hear nobody report on this, so we ready to get busy, get to the documents, see what the documents say. Alright. Guan, what's happening? Alright, so this is these documents just was filed on 11/21, which is today. You know, so more than likely ain't nobody get on top of it. Declaration of tenor, whatever. I don't know the fuck. I can't read them names. Declares as follows. I'm a partner of Agnifilo. So this is somebody from Diddy's law team. I'm licensed in good standing to practice law in the state of New York and California. And I also admitted to United States District Court of the Southern District of New York. The declaration is based on my personal knowledge of facts stated herein. And I submit and reply to the government's response of Mr. Combs' renewed motion for bail. The defendant and the defendant's counsel efforts to interview witnesses. So they're saying that Diddy is obstructing justice. Mr. Agnifilo and I began interviewing witnesses for this matter in April 2024 after the Department of Homeland Security raids at two Mr. Combs' residence and on his persons. Mr. Agnifilo stated examples of these interviews at the bail hearing on September 17, 2024. So Mr. Whatever and I have interviewed a half dozen of these males. We have been as busy as the government over the last 6 months. They talk about other violence in their bail letter, and they are talking about a kidnapping from 2011. And I know exactly what they are talking about because we interviewed, I know who the person was who was allegedly kidnapped. Mr. Whatever and I interviewed her in Los Angeles. We took a statement from her. She certainly didn't use the word kidnapping. See what I'm telling y'all, how the feds is playing dirty, man. They mischaracterizing events, and it's a dirty game, y'all. It's a dirty game. You stupid as shit. I don't think Diddy gotta tell Big Lo. I think Diddy case ain't strong. I think Diddy trying from the beginning. That's what I was saying. Diddy's trying to prove a point. Diddy not ready to implicate nobody. He trying to go up against the feds and win. Diddy from Harlem. Diddy cocky. Kidnapping with us. I won't get into which she did say, but let's suffice it to say there is another side to that story. And one day that other side might be told. Are we going to continue to interview witnesses? Of course we are. We take pains to stay out of the government's way. We don't know who the grand jury witnesses are, and honestly, I won't get into the details. If I think they are talking to someone, I will pull up short. I don't want any problems, Do I want to speak? Blank. We both know pretty much everything, After Combs' indictment on this matter, the government and I began negotiations over the protective order. Because we had protracted discussions, we did not come to an agreement on terms until on or about October 4th, 2024. All right, the motion for protective order. This court entered the agreed upon protective order on or about October 7th, 2024. That evening, the government produced their first production of discovery material to the defense. This production included the government's search warrants and their supporting affidavit. Even without the benefit of the government's discovery, Mr. Agnifilo and my investigation continued. In the beginning of October, our investigators traveled to the blank to interview multiple witnesses. He had planned to interview people in blank. On October 2nd, 2024, our investigators was in blank interviewing a witness. He then traveled to blank to interview blank we believe may have important information related to the investigation. On October 3rd, 2024, I met with my client at MDC to discuss blank with him. Now, people were saying, right? Let me say this, right? Because people were saying that Roger Bonds is one of the people working with the prosecution. Roger Bonds is a piece of fucking shit. Do y'all know why Roger Bonds is upset with Diddy? I always gotta bring this to the equation because I don't think people know his real issue. Roger Bonds' issue with Diddy is that his son went to motherfucking Africa. His son went to Africa, y'all. Did some old dumbass shit in Africa. End up getting charged with murder in Africa. Diddy sent him $25,000 for his son. He thought that Diddy should have did more for his son. So he go back to Diddy, try to get some more money. Diddy ghosted him, ain't giving the money. So he is upset with Diddy because of that. But my thing is, right? I wouldn't give his ass nothing. Roger Bonds' son meant somebody in prison. Somebody in prison. Think about this, how this sound, y'all. He meant a guy in prison. The guy bails him out. So I guess while they was locked up, they had some type of conversation. But the guy that he met, ex-girlfriend, moved to Africa. So she was in Africa with a guy. So Roger Bonds' son let a guy talk him into going to Africa. Africa, from the United States, to kill the man ex-girlfriend, new boyfriend. Man, if that was my fucking own son, I wouldn't have sent his ass $1. Like, man, Roger Barnes, tripping. He tripping, man. I think he just hating for real. Ain't no way you can be mad at Diddy for that. And Diddy still gave him $25,000. I wouldn't have gave his ass nothing. On October 2nd, 2024, our investigators was in blank interviewing the witness. He then traveled to blank. All right, we already read that. This individual who, as the government states, has previously publicly detailed the physical abuse she suffered, remained romantically involved with Mr. Combs on and off until less than a month before victim 1 filed her November 23rd lawsuit. I sent Mr. Agnifilo and our investigators the following text messages. The next day, our client made the call in which the government transcribes is blank. The last part of the sentence, which is not included in the government's brief, but is in the exhibit, states blank. We received the government's search warrant affidavits. It became clear to me from blank that victim 3 was considered an alleged victim by the government, and that blank with this information from the search warrant affidavits. Therefore, after October 7, 2024, I have not reviewed any discovery where Mr. Combs states on any calls or any emails to anyone to contact victim 3. Instead, Mr. Combs focused on a potential witness to address victim 3 and possible allegations. There were never any instructions whatsoever that Mr. Combs or counsel will blackmail victim 3. See, here they go lying again. This the prosecution lying again. I remember reading that in the documents. So what the state is saying that no, he's not. He's just trying to get his witnesses together. He's trying to find a witness that was around during the time that victim 3 is stating that these things would happen. He's not trying to blackmail this person. The government's response addresses Mr. Combs' contact with witness 1. The search warrant affidavit received on October 7, 2024 states, who the government describes as witness 1 in document number 69. Prior to reviewing the government's search warrants, I was unaware that the government put witness 1 in the grand jury. Now, they say witness 1 may be Roger Barnes. I first learned of witness 1 when Mark Agnifilo and I were in Miami, Florida, meeting with our client at his house. As part of our defense investigation, we have discussed several individuals with whom Mr. Agnifilo and I determined we should interview as part of our defense investigation. The photograph is below. On June 25th, 2024, Mr. Agnifilo and I traveled to Blank to continue our investigation. Mr. Agnifilo and I met with Mr. Combs at his Los Angeles home. Mr. Combs called witness 1 at Blank. Mr. Combs made this phone call in our presence, which means he wasn't trying to be sneaky. He did it in presence of his lawyers. And she said, I memorialized this conversation in writing at the time. So she got the whole conversation documented. She got it all documented. On November 20th, 2024, the government made available for inspection victim 1 and witness 1, which corroborates this witness statement. On July 8th, 2024, I believe I contacted witness 1 for his attorney name and contact information. So witness 1 is a guy. Mr. Agnifilo and I spoke to witness 1's attorney, who declined to make his client available for an interview. This individual, as the government states, is Mr. Combs blank. Is it his bodyguard? The government writes that Mr. Combs said he has blank. This has nothing to do with blank. He goes on to talk about blank. There is no indication in this call or any others I have received in discovery and listened to that I wanted to distribute any. Oh, so they trying to say, did he try and blackmail this person by distributing videos? So there is no indication in this call or any others that I've received in discovery and listened to that he wanted to distribute blank or videos of victim 1 to the media. Instead, he said, so victim 1, y'all know that's Cassie. Instead, he says blank. Mr. Combs next says blank. Here, Mr. Combs is referencing an unreleased music video of a song called Stay, part 1 from his September 23rd album called Love Album, he stated. It is my understanding that blank, i.e. dropping songs and music videos, and honestly, is regular practice in the music industry. It also my understanding that music videos for this song was never blank. I reviewed this music video on the evening of November 20th, 2024, and I can affirm that this music video does not reference Victim 1. Because individual 1 is Mr. Combs' longtime videographer, I asked him to provide me with all videos he had access to of Victim 1, which is Cassie, as these videos are responsive to request number 23 in the corporate record subpoena. He provided me with these videos on November. Oh shit. He provided me with these videos, and on October 29th, 2024, I produced 13 videos regarding Victim 1, some deciphering her, depicting her, and one depicting my client regarding her, to the government as part of our rolling subpoena compliance. On November 12th, 2024, Individual 1 contacted me and stated that the lead case agent approached him and that they were going to meet the next day. I instructed my client immediately to cease contact with Individual 1, which means they following the rules. So basically what the defense is saying, I can talk to these so-called witnesses if I get to them before y'all get to them. Now, once y'all get to them, I got to back off. So what Diddy legal team is saying, we abide by the rules. We abide by the rules because I can reach out to people I think is going to be a part of this case. If y'all haven't made them a part of the case yet, then they're not untouchable. And that's what the lawyer is saying. So all of these contacts that we read about that Diddy Poser had, the lawyer is saying that all of them contacts was legal. It's my understanding that BOP inmates receive 300 minutes of phone call. It is my understanding that BOP inmates receive 300 minutes of phone calls per month, with an individual 100 minutes per month in November and December. It is also my understanding, in my experience, based on phone calls with my client, that calls are limited to 15 minutes in duration, and that phone systems allow inmates to make one call per hour. As I understand it, inmates will frequently use other inmates' minutes to allow for more than one call in an hour period. Okay, so she's saying what Diddy did wasn't illegal. She said everybody do it, but they're trying to highlight Diddy doing this as a means of breaking the law and saying that you can't trust him. He's already breaking rules. More phone calls once their 300 minutes expire. Let me read that again because I fucked that up. As I understand it, inmates will frequently use other inmates' minutes to allow for more than one phone call in a 1 hour period, and more phone calls once their 300 minutes expire. After Mr. Combs was incarcerated, the government advised me that they were aware of many contraband cellular devices in MDC, and I asked if I would change Mr. Combs' iCloud password. I agreed. And he asked if I would change Mr. Combs' iCloud password. I agreed. To date, I have been unable to do so, but I have represented to the prosecutors that Mr. Combs does not have, nor does he use, a contraband cellular device. The contactmeasap.com and prison call. So y'all, if y'all don't know what I'm reading, y'all gotta go to the other videos, y'all, because basically this is what everything that the defense team is referencing is what the prosecutors sent to the judge as a means to say Diddy don't deserve a bail. You can't trust him. He's breaking all type of regulations and rules in the Department of Corrections. So this is Diddy lawyer explaining that no, he's not. He's not breaking any rules. But contactmeasap.com. And prison calls have been monitored, recorded, and reviewable by SIS officers at the MDC. These communications, with exception of legal video teleconferences, have subsequently been produced to the government. Since Mr. Combs has been incarcerated, I have been aware of his use of contactmeasap.com, though I do not have an understanding that this was unauthorized. I have spoken multiple times with an administrator of this website and confirmed that this method of communication utilized the Bureau of Prisons TrueLink Core Link system and was monitored by BOP officials. We are able to monitor every message Mr. Combs sends and receives. My understanding has now been verified through the government's discovery because we have received Mr. Combs' contact me ASAP messages. The government never instructed me to refrain from having him use this service, nor has the BOP. Mr. Combs is no longer using contactmeasap.com as of November 16, 2024. So basically, his lawyer team told him, man, just don't even use that shit. If they're making it an issue, don't use it. On November 13, 2024, the government produced their sixth production of discovery to the defense. Included in the production was, whatever this is, which blank, from the Intercontinental Hotel incident in March 2016. So more likely it's the video. Attached to this declaration as Exhibit B is blank. Attached to this declaration is Exhibit, all right. On November 15, 2024, asked the government when they came into possession of blank. The government replied that they came into possession of blank on August 7, 2024. On November 15, 2024, we retained Mr. Connor McCourt as an expert in connection with his retention on this matter. We provided him with the protective order ended in this case, Exhibit A1, from the government's previous bail filing. Blank produced to us in discovery on November 13, 2024. In my counsel's direction, Mr. McCourt created this video, attached this declaration as Exhibit D, comparing Exhibit A1 of the government's bail response with whatever. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So this was Diddy. So this was this lawyer basically refuting everything that, if you know, for people that have been following the channel, y'all, you know, we cover everything, you know, and it's important I read the whole document because I want everybody to have all the same information. You know, I don't want to paraphrase because, you know, when you paraphrase, a lot of times people add things into the, you know, I don't want to add nothing to the documents or take nothing away. So we just read the whole document. That way everybody can take from what they want, you know. But so Diddy got a bail hearing coming Friday. I might as well read that other document too. I thought that was going to be longer than that. So he got a renewed bail motion. What it is, Edward? Man, the Feds playing dirty. They've been playing dirty. They overdoing it. They're going to start fucking that whole case up. They need to fall back. So this is the renewed bail motion. Might as well read this now. Fuck it. This is the renewed bail motion right here. The government persuaded Judge Carter to detain Mr. Combs by claiming it's video of an 8-year-old incident with evidence of sex trafficking, and by making unsubstantiated claims of witness tampering. The defense refuted those arguments through its own proffer, but lacked access to key evidence that could corroborate its rebuttal. Nearly 2 months later, much has changed. Most importantly, discovery produced after the initial bail hearing. Some of it, after this motion was filed, shows the narrative the government presented was fictional. Fictional. For instance, we know that even before it arrested Mr. Combs, the government possessed blank, confirming his account of March 5th, 2016 evidence. Hold on. So this is the Cassie video. For instance, we know that even before it arrested Mr. Combs, the government possessed the video confirming his account of the March 5th, 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel. But instead of presenting that video to the court, the government submitted an altered video that omitted key scenes and presented events material out of order. Wow. You hear that? It left out key scenes and presented events materially out of order. Why would they do that? That's the same thing they did with the O-Block case. Not O-Block. That's the same thing they doing to Dirk right now. That picture, y'all see that picture? Do we gotta go back to the Dirk picture? That's the same thing they doing with this picture. on, let's go back to that so I can show y'all what I'm talking about. They're doing the same thing with this. They're doing the same thing with this. Where that picture at? This dirt paperwork. Hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm trying to find the that picture where they showed the car. The fuck? Look. This picture right here is misleading as a motherfucker. This the dirty games the feds play. You see how they got all these cars lined up? It would seem that this car is behind this car. But this car is all the way back here. This car is right there. This car is nowhere in fucking sight. You don't see this car anywhere. But they present the evidence like this. To say, look, he was tailing them. You know, this can be easily mischaracterized. It took me 3-4 times to look at this picture to realize what the fuck they did. But instead of presenting that video to the court, the government submitted altered video that omitted key scenes and presented events materially out of order. The prosecutors also claimed there was a second victim, but they never interviewed her. And messages produced in discovery confirms she was not a victim. Hey, yo, there they go. There they go again. Likewise, communication produced in discovery show Mr. Combs' contact with witnesses were in what the fuck is this word, y'all? I don't know. Inconsistent with his right to participate in his defense by developing potential defense witnesses. The government's opposition brief confirms that bail should be granted. It spills much ink insisting the court lacked authority to reopen the bail proceedings, even though the controlling authority clearly established the court ample discretion to do so. The government also offers no response to many of the cases cited in Mr. Combs' motion, including 2 other sex trafficking cases in which bail was granted. United States versus Jeffries. That's the Abercrombie and Fitch dude. United States versus Fox. Eastern District, and this was in the Eastern District of New York, and this looked like it's in New Jersey somewhere. So you know that's what they do, yo, with case law. They try to line the case up with another case to say, well, if this person got bail, you know, this case is similar. Why he isn't getting bail, and that's a good point. Instead, the government repraises the same disingenuous tactics it used in the prior proceedings. It took full advantage of the detention order, scouring Mr. Combs' communications to try to find some actual evidence to substantiate its obstruction allegations. But once again, the government's theatric spin on the evidence omits key context and creates a misleading picture. For instance, it makes much of Mr. Combs' contact with others, but is unable to point to any communication involving actual tampering efforts. And it omits key parts of conversation. Now, let me tell y'all something, right? And I told y'all this before. I had a hit and run case, right? I had a hit and run case where after the first court hearing, I talked to the people that I hit and ran on, right? Now, I didn't threaten them. I just told them my situation. Yo, I'm just coming home from prison. I got 7 years to back up. Now, I ain't trying to make this look like it's a small situation, yo, but this is a car accident, bro. It's a car accident. It ain't worth me going to prison for 7 years for a car accident. So that person wound up telling the prosecutors. So that my next court hearing, the prosecutors tried to make it seem like I tampered with witnesses. So the judge was like, did he threaten him? He's like, no, he didn't threaten him. Then the judge said, I'm not trying to hear it. If you didn't threaten him, he didn't tamper with witnesses. So that's basically what Diddy lawyer team is saying. Like, he didn't tamper with anybody. He didn't threaten to blackmail. He didn't do anything of the sort. And amidst key parts of conversation, which shows that Mrs. Combs was not pressuring anyone or telling anyone what to say about anything. Likewise, its allegations about MDC rule violations are false and overblown. There is no legitimate legal basis for continuing to force Mr. Combs to prepare for trial from jail. The government is unable to show that the extremely restrictive proposed conditions are insufficient to prevent any possible danger or obstruction. The revelation about the recent MDC raid only confirmed that it is impossible for Mr. Combs to work with counsel on a confidential basis to develop his trial strategy from the jail. He is entitled to pretrial release under the Bail Reform Act and the Constitution. The government efforts to disparage the significance of the new evidence supporting Mr. Combs' motion are nothing more than empty rhetoric. The evidence cited in Mr. Combs' motion fundamentally undermines the government's prior representation as to the weight of the evidence and the nature and seriousness of the purported danger he presents. That is more than sufficient to demonstrate changed circumstances, which is satisfied by showing the strength of the primary evidence relied upon by the government to demonstrate danger has been undermined by new information. United States versus Stevens. The specific evidence outlined in Mr. Combs' motion was not available at the time of the initial hearing. Although the defense had a general understanding of Mr. Combs' past interaction with individuals like Victim 1, we did not have access to the specific contents of the relevant correspondence because it was contained on devices that were seized from Mr. Combs but had not yet been produced to him. Thus, the government's claims that nothing about the context of the text message between the defendant and Victim 1 were unknown to him at the time of the initial hearing. The government does not hold on, y'all. Yo! What's up? Fucking kids always want to play games and shit. Hold on, man. We do not have access to the specific context of the relevant correspondence because it was contained on devices that were seized from Mr. Combs but had not yet been produced to him. Thus, the government claimed that nothing about the context of the text message between the defendant and Victim 1 were unknown to him at the time of the initial hearing. The government does not dispute that other evidence, such as the blank, could not have been known to Mr. Combs during the initial hearing. As just one example, Mr. Combs did not know that blank directly contradicted the government's claims at the detention hearing. Nor did Mr. Combs know that the government was portraying a second woman as a purported victim, even though it has never been spoken to her. Ho. Here they go being dirty again. Nor did Mr. Combs know that the government was portraying a second woman as a purported victim, even though it has never even spoken to her. How can they do that? They never spoke to the girl. Thus, is sufficient new information to reopen the hearing. United States versus Jones. New documentary evidence that called into question grand jury testimony sufficient to reopen bail hearings. The government's separate argument that the court has no inherent authority to reopen the hearing because this case has been reassigned is baseless. The court is entitled to consider the basis for detention order in deciding whether to reopen. We are not asking the court to rule that Judge Carter erred, right, which is what United States versus English addressed when it observed that a second district court judge is not authorized to review the decision of a previous district court judge. We are simply offering new evidence and additional conditions in response to the reasons Judge Carter gave for detaining Mr. Combs, as the Second Circuit Court has clearly instructed. The Act leaves the decision to reopen a hearing to the sound discretion of the district court, and a prior detention determination is a neutral reference point against which to measure the materiality of new evidence for the purpose of reopening the hearing. So basically, what the new evidence is, basically what the DIDDY legal team is saying, y'all don't have a case. Y'all don't have a case. Y'all blew this up. Y'all dramatizing sequence of events, and y'all making it seem like y'all case is bigger than what y'all. They make it seem like their case is bigger than what it is. But now, since DIDDY team got the discovery, now we can prove that they don't have a case. They lying. They're making it look like it's something that it ain't. That's the new evidence. That's the new evidence that DIDDY legal team is saying. Prior detention determination is a neutral reference point against which to measure the materiality of new information for the purpose of reopening the hearing. Indeed, to suggest otherwise would be nonsensical. Untethered, the materiality inquiry from those facts that the court found consequential to its earlier detention decision. On November 13, 2024, the government produced even more material new evidence, including more blank of the March 5, 2016 and a Continental Hotel incident. The government had this as early. Look, why they withhold? They withholding evidence. They withholding evidence. This is all right. A lot of people watch the YSL trial, and one of the things that these courts do is if they don't have a strong case, they're going to do things like withhold evidence. You feel me? They're going to give you the evidence, but they're going to try to give it. They're going to try to hold on to it as long as possible. They're going to do little raids, like they're going to straddle the fence. Basically, is what I'm saying. And what DIDDY legal team is saying is the United States government been straddling the fence too long. They've been straddling the fence too long. Release my client, please, so he can fight this case on the outside. That's what's going on. Like, why would they have documents on March 5th? I mean, on earliest August 7th, but produce it on November 13th. But y'all been had it. On November 13, 2024, the government produced even more material new evidence, including more blank of the March 5, 2016 Intercontinental Hotel incident. The government had this blank as early as August 7th, yet only produced it to the defense after Mr. Combs filed his renewed motion for bail. DIDDY getting the bail? DIDDY coming home tomorrow, y'all. This consists of blank used to create the government's principal piece of evidence at an earlier bail hearing, an edited, manipulated version of the video published by CNN. The new blank supports the defense argument at the earlier bail hearing and shows the government knowingly mischaracterized and concealed critical facts during those hearings. As an analyst prepared by forensic video analyst Connor McCourt explains, the video the government submitted to the court omits footage corroborating the defense account, changes the sequence of events in material respects, and does not accurately depict the events. The government had the more complete video during the initial hearings, but chose not to share it with the court. Instead, it offered an edited version of the CNN video as its most powerful evidence of danger and obstruction. Mr. Combs argued Exhibit A1 was not evidence of a freak-off, but depicted a domestic dispute in which he ran down the hallway of the hotel to recover his clothes and cell phone. The government invented a different narrative. It argued our evidence will show that just not what happened. It argued our evidence will show, all right, that's just all right. It argued our evidence shows that's just not what happened. Because if it's about the clothes and wanting to get the clothes back, which again it's not, why drag the victim down the hall to the room? And you can see, and you can see that on tape. That's what he does. The government further argued Mr. Combs throws a vase at her, which the district court cited in detaining Mr. Combs. The government apparently stands by those arguments again here, but they are false, and the government knows it. The more complete footage of the incident, in contrast to the government's sensationalized CNN cut, contradicts the government's representation. The video demonstrates that Mr. Combs, in fact, ran down the hall to retrieve a bag of clothes and a cell phone. He did not drag victim 1 back down the hallway to the room, as the government in its re-sequenced exhibits falsely suggests. He did not throw a vase at victim 1, but only its contents, presumably flowers. And she was not only able to leave once security staff intervened. In other words, it's the government, and she was not only able to leave. All right. It's the government's whose explanation is just another cover-up, just more lies. The true facts corroborate Mr. Combs has stated all along. The video is not evidence of a coerced freak-off and sex trafficking, but rather a sad glimpse into a decade-long consensual relationship between Mr. Combs and victim 1. Mr. Combs' new evidence undermines the basis for initial detention decisions, and none of the government's more specific arguments demonstrate likewise. Communication with victim 1 did not evidence sex trafficking. Now, one piece of correspondence that we have reviewed between Mr. Combs and victim 1, the sole victim in the indictment, corroborates the prosecution's sex trafficking theory or its representation at the previous bail hearings. And the government still does not offer a single piece of actual evidence supporting that allegation. They say they haven't got no evidence of sex trafficking. No evidence of sex trafficking, y'all. Instead, it reiterates its proffer of cherry-picked citations to purported messages. If the messages in context actually support the government's argument, why hasn't it produced them to the defense or provided them to the court? Oh my God, yo. This is crazy, man. The government brushes off victim 1's motives for accusing Mr. Combs of having no bearing on the question of bail, but victim 1 is the only victim identified in the indictment, and her credibility will be, if not the key issue at trial. If the jury does not credit her testimony, it will have to acquit him of sex trafficking count. Her motives thus directly relate to and diminish the weight of evidence against Mr. Combs, as well as the nature and seriousness of the purported danger he presents. So they coming after Cassie credibility. Let me read that again. The government brushes off victim 1's motives for accusing Mr. Combs of having no bearing on the question of bail, but victim 1 is the only victim identified in the indictment, and her credibility will be blank, if not the blank key issue at trial. Her motives thus directly relate to and diminish the weight of the evidence against Mr. Combs, as well as the nature and seriousness of the purported danger he presents. There is no second, come on now. There is no second victim at all. The government does not even dispute that despite labeling a second person a victim of sex trafficking, It has never even spoken to her, presumably for this reason. The government also fails to dispute the fact that this individual was voluntarily intimate with Mr. Combs for years. The government now falsely portrays as sex trafficking. Yo, man, free that man, man. Man, free that boy Diddy, man. The government simply has no response to these facts. Instead, it doubles down on more misleading representation to the court. It suggests Mr. Combs is tampering with this individual through financial coercion, including as recently as mid-September 2024. Yet the government knows, but again withholds from the court that blank. There's simply no financial coercion at all. Mr. Combs did not obstruct grand jury witnesses. The government's discussion of Mr. Combs' contact with witness 1 contains no facts suggesting any tampering. The government does not and cannot dispute that Mr. Combs did not try to influence the individual grand jury testimony. To the contrary, he confirmed the witnessship blank. Indeed, his contacts with the witness were in coordination with counsel and in connection with defense investigation. The government cites 128 phone contacts in total with witness 2, but ignores that the context of the correspondence evinces no obstruction. The most the government can offer is that blank. That's all. And it's not, that is all, and it is not evidence of obstruction. The government concedes that in consideration whether release is necessary for preparation for a person of defense, the Bail Reform Act requires that a defendant in custody be afforded reasonable opportunity for private consultation with counsel. The government breezy ensures that the MDC procedures do not infringe on the defendant's constitutional rights to effective counsel or to participate in his defense, particularly given the opposition revealed that how the government has taken advantage of the detention order to violate Mr. Combs' privacy and pierce his privileged communication with his attorney. The government has listened to his calls, including with family members and attorneys. Yo, goddamn. Family members and attorneys? Hey, yo, Diddy is, this case is garbage, y'all. For all the people that, all the Diddy haters that want to see him go to jail, that's not what's really happening. Reviewed his messages, including with dozens of individuals, including attorneys. Like, look at the shit that they doing. They listening to his phone calls with his attorneys, reading his text messages with his attorneys. Like, all of this stuff is illegal, y'all. The BOP sweep and prosecutors' conduct here will unquestionably have a chilling effect on Mr. Combs' preparation if his detention continues. The government, I guarantee, Diddy come home tomorrow. The government's response that its action need only be reasonable, not perfect, provides little comfort. The OP suspension of visits and calls impact the defense's ability to prepare and create it. So he got his all right, with counsel make release necessary. Oh no, that's the case law. Defense counsel has repeatedly tried to come to an agreement with the government on various issues, including the sharing of discovery with Mr. Combs and clarifying the filter team protocol. These issues remain unsolved. The government says it will provide a laptop in short order, but it has been saying that all along. And while it has made a laptop for counsel to bring it to MDC available this week, it is still not provided a laptop for Mr. Combs to have in the facility. The government has done nothing to remedy the issue raised by the motion. To the contrary, it hid the defense that Mr. Combs' privileged material and work products were searched and seized. The comment that it stands ready to engage with defense counsel on these issues if needed. It's hard to take seriously given the history here. Nor is the suggestion that Mr. Combs should consent to further delaying the trial if detention makes preparation impractical. Oh, so they trying to use this as a way to, because Diddy didn't waive his right to speedy trial, which means he got to be in court within 6 months. So they trying to use this tactic as to slow up the court process so they can get a postponement. At least that's what the defense thinks. Nor is this a suggestion that Mr. Combs should consent to further delaying the trial if detention makes preparation impractical. impracticable. He has constitutional and statutory rights to speedy trial. When the government moves for pretrial detention, it has an obligation to arrange for trial as quickly as possible, using extraordinary means if necessary. United States versus Jackson. Indeed, Jackson makes completely clear that the court will not view this obligation of government lightly. The government's new evidence does not justify detaining Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs' use of Contact Me ASAP, other PAC numbers, and three-way calling is not an attempt to invade law enforcement. Mr. Combs' use of methods of communication that the government claims violate BOP policy does not evidence obstruction and does not justify detention. It is simply not true that the communications are designed to invade BOP in law enforcement monitoring. ContactMeASAP.com is a service that defense counsel did not believe was unauthorized by BOP, as it is widely used in the prisons. It's probably not. Multiple times with administrators of the website. Hold up, I forgot something. All right. Defense counsel has spoken multiple times with an administrator of this website to confirm that this method of communication utilizes the BOP TrueLink system, which it does, and is monitored by a BOP official, which it is. The government therefore can read and even block every single message Mr. Combs sends and receives through this service, as was Mr. Combs' understanding. Indeed, the government has never once instructed defense counsel to have Mr. Combs refrain from using the service, nor has the BOP. Mr. Combs is no longer using Contact Me ASAP as of November 16, 2024. The use of other inmates' PAC numbers is also a widespread practice at MDC and does not obstruction. Inmates routinely share their calling minutes with other inmates, and they are limited to 15 minutes per call and 1 call per hour. The government has presented no evidence suggesting anything Mr. Combs says using other numbers is different from what he says while using his individual PAC number. If anything, Mr. Combs needs to resort to sharing minutes demonstrate that the conditions at MDC does not permit an adequate defense preparation. Although this is technically not permitted by BOP policy, the BOP effectively sanctioned the practice and all calls are monitored. The government claims to have reviewed multiple calls in which Mr. Combs has attempted to dial in third parties, but it does not describe how any of those calls could be attempts at obstruction. And while it states that potential contacts of these calls include members and associates of the enterprise, because the government will not identify these individuals, the defense has no way of testing the government's claim. So these people dirty, man. Dirty. The message cited by the government reflects Mr. Combs' efforts to investigate and prepare his defense, including with counsel participation, nothing more. At the time, the defense team did not even know that this individual was a purported victim. So they're talking about victim 2, that's not even a victim. Of course, the government continues to portray this individual in question as victim, who could provide powerful testimony against Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs' Sixth Amendment right would be violated if counsel did not adequately conduct a thorough investigation into the individual, and any such investigation must be based quite properly on informed strategic choices made by the defendant and on information supplied by him, Strickland versus Washington. Indeed, what investigation decisions are reasonably depends critically on such information. Accordingly, courts are mindful of pretrial detainees' need to make telephone calls to potential witnesses and other individuals who might be useful to the defense. The government completely mischaracterizes the content of the video on exhibit whatever. The music video for which was never released. So they're trying to say, so the government is trying to say Diddy was going to release a video of Cassie, a music video. And they try to say he was going to do that to try to blackmail her into, I guess, not testifying or stop cooperating with the government. The music video for which was never released. The quote cited by the government technically includes no reference of victim 1 because there aren't references to any videos or public relations strategies meant to discredit her. The government also cites comments reflecting classic protected speech. The government's claims using public statements to alter public perception and blank is obstructive. It argues the same regarding establishing a narrative about blank. Mr. Combs believes that this is blank and his persona is blank. Without question, a pretrial detainee does not necessarily forfeit his or her First Amendment rights, United States versus whatever. Indeed, as the Supreme Court held, in some circumstances, press conference is necessary to protect the rights of the accused because a defense does not begin inside the courtroom door, and one cannot ignore the practical implications of a legal proceeding for the accused. Gentile versus State Bar of Nevada. The cited conduct does not demonstrate any real or specific threat to the legal process, and Mr. Combs' statements have the full protection of the First Amendment. Gentile considered, so they talking about that letter, they talking about the coordination that he did with his kids on his birthday. Gentile considered the appropriate standard for speech restriction on a lawyer. But Mr. Combs, who is a criminal defendant, is presumed to be innocent, has a greater constitutional claim than other pretrial participants to criticize or speak out against the prosecution. And remember I was saying that, like, how y'all not gonna let him defend himself? Like, how is you, like, they out here doing this whole slander campaign, but they're not gonna let him fight back. Like, I thought that was wild. I thought that was wild. Combs, who is a criminal defendant and is presumed to be innocent, has a greater constitutional claim than other pretrial participants to criticize and speak out against the prosecution in the criminal trial process that seek to take away his liberty. United States versus Trump. His comments, which were not even made but merely anticipated, involve thoughts that this prosecution is politically motivated or that he is innocent of charges against him, which would constitute protected speech. To the extent the court remains concerned that such statements might interfere with a fair trial, the remedy is not to detain the defendant, which would chill free speech. Instead, it is to screen potential juries through their voir dire. Moreover, the Bail Reform Act authorized courts to release pretrial detainees on condition that they would avoid all contact with alleged victims and with potential witnesses, which mitigates the specific obstruction concern raised by the government. Yo, why do people care about the pointer, y'all? Like, I be saying that, like, y'all really care about a pointer? I don't give a fuck about this pointer. Like, y'all crazy as a motherfucker, man. I'd make this bitch a big-ass circle. That shit don't give a fuck. Don't think about that shit. The government cannot meet its burden to continue detention. There is no clear and convincing evidence supporting detention. The government claims its detention request is supported by witness testimony, communications, photos and videos, police reports, and other materials, but it has produced no such evidence. Only testimony in the bail record confirms that. They lying. They don't got the case that they saying, y'all. Like, Diddy is ready to come home. This case is fuck around, get tossed out. For communications, it continues to rely on exclude innocuous, that's the word, innocuous messages sent by a purported victim to an individual the government has never spoke to, and one it knows isn't a victim. And it's a piece, what? And it's piece of resistance. The video involving the only specific victim mentioned in the indictment is not evidence of sex trafficking, as explained. The government again reiterates the indictment allegations, but offers no response to the case law illustrating why those allegations are insufficient to meet its burden. Mr. Combs intends to face these charges. The prospect of a conviction does not materially change his incentives here. All right, the prospect of a conviction does not materially change his incentive here, where his reputation has already been destroyed by the government's allegations and aggressiveness and deceptive media tactics. Yo, haven't we been saying that though, y'all, the whole time? All of this is together. The government is doing all of this. Read that again. Where his reputation has already been destroyed by the government's allegations and aggressive and deceptive media tactics, it only can be rebuilt by winning at trial. As the government concedes, Mr. Combs took steps to mitigate risk of flight before the indictment. There is no credible risk that he will attempt to flee if committed to a 24/7 custody of qualified security. Yo, Diddy come home. I guarantee Diddy get a bail. I guarantee y'all Diddy get a bail. And what the fuck the internet gonna do when Diddy come home? Oh, that's gonna be too funny. When Diddy get bailed out, that is gonna be too funny. The proposed conditions specifically mitigate any possible concerns. The government cites purported obstruction carried out through phone and email, but under the proposed conditions, Mr. Combs will have less access, in fact, no access, to such means of communication other than to communicate with counsel. Moreover, family visits will require a prior approval, and Mr. Combs will consent to security personnel monitoring the visits and video monitoring if necessary. Tellingly, the government does not even attempt to distinguish the precedent supporting release on comparable conditions in similar cases. They talking about the Wiscom guy, Abercrombie and Fitch guy. Indeed, the government consented to release on conditions of 2 defendants in the Jeffries case since the initial bail hearings here. Yeah, did he come home? The government is also wrong that United States versus whatever favors detention, as explained in Mr. Combs' reply on appeal, which he incorporates here. May be appropriate. So whatever that name is, Bostana, I don't know, stated a private security argument may be appropriate where a defendant is deemed to be a flight risk or danger primarily because of his wealth. Okay, so it's case law on that. That is exactly what the government has argued and alleged in this case. That is what they allege. That because of his wealth, you can't trust him. Citing financial coercion and significant financial benefits. Arguing Mr. Combs has nearly limitless resources to facilitate his flight. Indictment alleging racketeering activity fueled by the employees, resources, and influence of Mr. Combs' multifaceted business empire. Bostani cannot foreclose release where the government repeatedly emphasized the defendant wealth and the explanation of risk of flight. Throughout these proceedings, the government has sought detention without actual proof, only to later produce evidence revealing the true, materially different facts. Yo, this is crazy. Because the accuracy of his proffer are in question, they should be disregarded, and the court should only rely on the underlying evidence or evidentiary sources. For the foregoing reasons, the court should reopen the hearing and grant bail on the proposed conditions or any other conditions the court deemed appropriate. Dated today. Diddy coming home, y'all. I don't know. I know some people probably gonna be upset. I know people probably gonna be mad. I know everybody thought he was done. Yo, but Diddy is coming home. What's up, Black Monster? I think, see, this is the thing, Diddy done some wrong. Like, I think, Diddy done some wrong. But Diddy is facing life in prison. Diddy didn't do life in prison wrong. That was my whole thing from the beginning. Diddy did not do life in prison wrong. Like, he don't deserve life in prison. He don't deserve to even be facing life in prison. You heard in the documents, the United States government has produced no evidence of sex trafficking. No evidence. Like, they locked the man up for sex trafficking and produced zero evidence. I don't know where, there's no proof for none of that, hot tamale. There's no proof of that. Like, all of that is just media speculation. All that is just YouTube shit. And, there's no evidence that he killed anybody. Even the Bieber thing. Like, Bieber ain't never come out and say that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did he beat Cassie? He did do that. We seen him do that. But should he get life in prison for that? Like, god damn, not life. Not life. And he deserves a bail. Like, you holding a man on a no bail for getting in a fight with his girl? Like, that's crazy, man. He get a no bail for that? Jesus Christ. Yeah, for real, bad guy. Diddy beat Cassie. He should be punished. However, it's decided no bail in life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Danny. Like, yo, that's crazy, yo. He did. And that's another thing. How do you settle with a person and then get charged for it? Like, yo, that's not how that shit normally goes, man. Like, normally, yo, when you pay those type of lawsuits, you don't have to then worry about going to jail. Like, it don't normally work that way. Like, that's how you know it was bullshit. And then all the aggressive practices that they've been doing since he's been incarcerated. The media campaign against him. Like, yo, they put together a serious slander campaign against him, man. Busby announced 21 lawsuits. 120 lawsuits. He only filed 7. Like, all of that stuff, yo, was, all that shit is dirty. Never know. Yeah, he settled. Yeah, I know it's definitely a price on charges. I don't know if he No, see, that's the thing, Grand. Yo, the feds did that. The feds took it upon themselves. Cassie never wanted Diddy to go to jail. That wasn't Cassie angle. That's the shit the feds did on their own. Yeah, but normally when you settle, you don't have to worry about going to jail as well. Like, you don't settle and go to jail. Like, it don't typically go that way. When you settle with somebody, that's the point of settlement. You know what I mean? That's the point of settlement. You know, they came after Diddy because Diddy got the beef with the liquor company. That's really what this is all about. It's not about victims. That's why I've been telling y'all since the beginning, yo, nobody else is getting brought under this. Like, everybody that was selling that store to y'all, they was just trying to get views. Nobody else is getting brought up. This ain't a takedown of the music industry. Ain't none of that. And Diddy ain't even cooperating because Diddy know it's bullshit. Exactly. This one day, man, Ken Capone need to give me an interview and stop playing. Then you got a whole bunch of people, right? A whole bunch of disgruntled employees. You got a whole bunch of disgruntled employees just going around slandering the man just because they mad for whatever reason. You got Jaguar Wright. She mad that she probably got fucked and dumped. You feel me? She mad that she was promised things in the music industry. Look at this. 10 horrific
music mogul Sean.
Listen to this, y'all. Look at this. 10 horrific new P. Diddy accusations and lawsuit filed just before bail. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. These lawsuits are bogus, y'all. Bogus. Hey, Flim Flam, you watching? Can we get these lawsuits, please? Yeah, y'all make sure if y'all new to the channel, y'all make sure y'all check out this video right here, man. This video I just dropped. It's a must see. Everything said was on point. Much respect to B More. Gotta watch that video, man. It should go viral. That bitch need to get 150K.
If any, they could have on Diddy's federal case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
And look, and Sidebar is lying. Sidebar is, I'm gonna tell y'all what Law and Crime Network is for people that's new to the channel. Law and Crime Network is designed because YouTubers was getting too much money, so they put Law and Crime Network in, to kind of take money away from people like me and other content creators, because Law and Crime Network is with the bullshit. Law and Crime Network was like the balancing act. Like, if we're gonna have all these people giving their own takes, we gotta put the equalizer out there. That's Law and Crime Network. They always gonna push with the agenda. That's what they designed to do. Law and Crime Network is a blog page with the agenda. With the agenda. Now, yo, we didn't cover all these lawsuits. And I think only one of them, I believe. I ain't gonna say I believe, because it ain't up to me to believe it. Only one of them makes sense. One of them. One of them, yo. Some of them lawsuits, y'all, sound like it can be a script in a movie. A script in a movie. And a bulk of them sound like sex workers. Like they was paid to do a job. They got paid to do a job, did the job. Now they trying to come back and say Diddy ordered them. Like, that's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. They got paid to do a job. However the job was, the job might have been freaky. You feel me? The job might have involved the remote control. But that's the job. You want the money or not? You can't take the money and then come back later and talk about, you know, it's not how that shit works. Yeah, that would crush them. She do that. If she do all of it, if they go through all this and she say she don't want to testify, that would crush the whole case. Yo, I don't know. I don't think this case is even gonna make it to court. I think Diddy's defense team is gonna catch this. Is gonna catch the government in some type of corruption, because they got two investigations going now. They trying to investigate who leaked that Cassie video, because that video was leaked, and they trying to investigate who sanctioned the raid in the Diddy cell, and got this information sent to the prosecution trial team. And if any of those come back, how the defense wanted to come back, which says that they dealing in corruption, the prosecution dealing in corruption, this case gonna get tossed. Might not even make it to trial. That's why they're doing all these delaying tactics. But let's see what this fuck boy is saying.
As disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs prepares to appear in court to argue for bail,
that's all they got is the Cassie situation.
People are coming forward with disturbing allegations against him. I'm going to dig into 5 new lawsuits filed this week and the impact, if any, they could have on Diddy's federal case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Right. Big law.
When it comes to Sean Diddy Combs, the lawsuits just keep on coming. And particularly when you talk about Texas lawyer Tony Busby. He has filed 5 new lawsuits in federal courts on Tuesday with some of the most...
So look, to date, y'all, and y'all remember when I said this? Y'all? What if y'all find out Tony Busby only filed 2 lawsuits? This man announced 120 lawsuits. To date, he may have filed 10. He may have filed 10. But you damaged the jury pool by announcing 120. Because that's always gonna be forever stuck in people's mind. Man, Diddy got 120 lawsuits on him. But he might not file no more than 10. That's dirty, y'all. And then in them documents we read, we was talking about how Diddy tried to defend himself against it, and the feds trying to hold him back. But yet they keep with this media campaign. No, help yourself. You just don't know what's going on. You being misled. Won't you listen? We read all the documents. No, you ain't had to delete them. We read all the documents. Go back and look at the videos and come to your own determination. Stop letting people paraphrase for you. And then tell you how to digest it. We read all the documents, top to bottom. That's what we do over here. That way, me and everybody that we rocking with, we got all the information. And I think most people that read all the documents with us know that this is some bullshit. I think most people know that.
Horrific claims yet against the embattled rapper. The accusations come from both men and women, some just teens when they say that Combs attacked them, others in their late 30s. The claims are all related to alleged conduct in New York and Miami, two places where Combs had lived and worked for decades, and they're just as equally as disturbing as what we've heard in the past. And we know that Tony Buzbee has filed a number of lawsuits already against Sean Combs. He says he represents over 100 alleged victims of Sean Combs. And just to take a step back, you know by now what we're talking about, right? The criminal charges that Sean Combs is facing out of the Southern District of New York. A grand jury indictment led to charges of racketeering conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, sex trafficking. Prosecutors claiming that Combs used his influence as the head of...
Yo, but still to date, they have produced no evidence. See, this is shit. That's why I don't like law and crime. We just read that to date, they haven't produced any evidence to show any of that. Any of the things he just mentioned. The defense has not got... The defense has got 6 discovery packets. 6. Yo, this is what a discovery packet look like. Let me show y'all something. This is a discovery packet. The defense said they got 6 of these. 6 of these. And they have yet to produce any evidence of sex trafficking. Any evidence. Law of crime ain't gonna tell you that. So it really depends on where you're getting your news from, man. If you're getting your news from some of these other guys in law and crime, then you'll be misled. You'll be misled into thinking that they got a sufficient case against Diddy.
Of Bad Boy Records and his other businesses, his significant wealth, his influence, his power, to host freak-offs, these elaborate sexual orgies that involved illegal drugs and male prostitutes and coercion and force, and there were entire camera setups. And the government says that Combs would go to any lengths, legal or illegal, to satisfy his sexual desires.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube?
Hey, Randy, you know what's crazy though, Randy? I don't even think these lawsuits are designed to get paid out. I think these lawsuits are strictly designed to prejudice the jury. Y'all seen that yesterday. I think them lawsuits are designed to strictly prejudice the jury. They're trying to fuck up the jury pool. So if you run a media campaign against them, yo, a lot of them jurors they want because they don't got the evidence. So when they don't got the evidence, they play dirty. They play dirty. So what they gotta do is, yo, we gotta sow guilt in these jurors' mind way before they get to court. Way before they get to court. And that's what they've been doing. That's why they leaked the Cassie video. And they're using the Cassie video to detain them, because without that video being released, right, they wouldn't be able to mention it in no paperwork. You get me? So you gotta release the Cassie video, so that way, anytime he try to get a bail, we can bring up this video. Because if the video wasn't released, they wouldn't be able to bring it up. And right, it's only one video. That's all they got. Like they don't have nothing, man. Nothing that say he's sex trafficked. They might got video of him having sex and shit like that, but they don't have anything saying that he's sex trafficked. We just read in the documents. The defense said they produced 6 different discovery packets, and not one of them showed any ounce of sex trafficking. Not one of them. Yeah, I see that. I see Smollett just made out. I don't know how, but
in New York in September, he's been locked up ever since in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His defense team is actively trying to get him out of there. They are going to be trying for a 3rd time to get him bail, this time in front of Judge Arun Subramanian. We're actually going to be doing a whole separate episode that's coming out tonight, too, on what you can expect from that bail hearing. And also, we're going to cover that live for you on Friday on Law and Crime as well. You can check it out on our YouTube page. But as we now know, he's not just facing the criminal charges, he is also facing all these lawsuits, a barrage of civil lawsuits. The floodgates, they really seemingly opened after his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, filed that bombshell lawsuit against him, claiming that Combs subjected her to a decade of physical, mental, and sexual abuse. Combs adamantly denied the claims, but you remember he settled that lawsuit with Cassie the very next day. And then there was the surge of lawsuits after that, with several other people coming forward to say that while Combs appeared to be everybody's favorite celebrity rapper, appearing on talk shows, guest starring on TV shows and movies, Behind the scenes, they say he was essentially a ruthless criminal. Well, on Tuesday, attorney Tony Busby filed these 5 new complaints, and they share a common theme. They share a common theme with the others that he has filed on behalf of clients who say that Combs abused them. They all talk about Combs' alleged drug use, the claim that he and his associates would drug or lace drinks with GHB or ecstasy, that he would give them to unsuspecting victims at parties and auditions. Allegations that not only he, but his associates, his bodyguards, participated in forced
I don't think he's
sexual
anybody's
acts.
favorite rapper. I don't
And
know
all
what the
the
fuck you talking
plaintiffs,
about.
they have filed
That's what I'm
anonymously
saying.
against
That's
not
why
only
that's why
Combs, but
long
also
crime
his
needs
companies like
long crime really needs to stay the fuck out black people business. Like, I don't think Diddy was ever anybody's favorite rapper. I ain't never heard not one person in life say Diddy is my favorite rapper. Ever.
Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Productions. Now, before I get into this, I have to stress something. Combs has always denied any wrongdoing or criminal activity, okay? He and his attorneys have said that if anything sexual did happen, it was consensual. And remember, he hasn't been found liable in a court of law yet. He hasn't been found guilty in a court of law yet. And I think the argument would be, it may seem strange to you and I. You and I might not engage in these kinds of freak-off sessions, but it's not necessarily illegal.
Yeah, that's true, Jay.
By the way, with stories like this, our content, these Diddy allegations, I think it just goes to show you how important personal safety is. And I don't know.
Hey, Harris, where are you getting that information from? See, that's the shit I be talking about, Harris. Yo, there's no proof of that. Who told you that? That's content creators trying to trick motherfuckers for views. There is no proof. Nowhere in any documents. We've been reading documents all week. We've been reading documents all week. It's not in the paperwork. It's not in the paperwork. That incident is not in the paperwork. You talking about you Googled it. Yo, what are you talking about? I just told you we've been reading documents all week. Like, what they doing is they doing a slander campaign. They're doing a slander campaign. They're reading documents all week, y'all. There's no way in any. The documents don't even reference that. It don't even reference that party. It don't even reference it. It's not in the indictment. He's not charged for anything that happened that day. Yeah, it's not illegal to eat food off people, man. A lot of people do shit like that. That's a motherfucking job. They get paid handsomely to sit there and let people eat food off of them. Not my thing, but hey.
If you think about it a lot, but do you know where that becomes especially important? Protecting your privacy online. I think you'd be shocked at how much of your personal information is actually out there, like your address and your phone number. Do you ever wonder why you get so many spam calls and emails?
That
It's
New
because all
York,
that
them
information
boys
is
want
public.
plays.
But that is where our sponsor.
Yeah, what does that? So what does that say though, bro? Like, I don't know, Harris. I know we read all the documents, bro. Like, I don't know what you've been saying, but we read everything. Everything. Can somebody vouch and show and tell him, that we read everything that came out, the whole document as a team?
I'm not going to get into. That's actually with respect to, I think, the other lawsuits too. Certain details I'm just not going to share, but I do have to talk about certain details. It's important to know what we're saying. It's important to know what the people are saying, why they're saying it, and what the protections are under the law. So with that caveat, let's go into this. Now, one of the latest lawsuits is from a John Doe who lives in Texas. The complaint says, in the late 90s and early 2000s, plaintiff was an actor, regularly traveling across the United States for auditions and roles on stage and screen. After finding out about a role playing a police officer in a music video, plaintiff exchanged phone calls with a female casting director in New York. In October 2001, he traveled to Manhattan to meet with her. Now, we don't know John Doe's age at the time he says he met Sean Combs, but we know that he was an adult. But we've told you about other lawsuits where people claim that when they were children, maybe sometimes when they were auditioning for Sean Combs, they were sexually assaulted. They were drugged. So keep that in mind. But going back to this lawsuit, so John Doe goes to New York. He goes to a hotel near Central Park, and it's there where he meets up with someone appearing to be Sean Combs' bodyguard or an assistant of some kind. And they talk about John Doe's background and his fitness routines. And when Combs comes in, he asks John Doe questions about himself and his trip to New York. And he reportedly wants to know if John Doe is there by himself, meaning, did he have any friends in New York? And John Doe told him no. Process that for a second. Because then he says Combs allegedly gave John Doe the once-over and said he'll do.
Brian. Why y'all want to be lied to, yo? Like I know the lie sounds, you know, people like a pretty lie, man. Like, why would you, you want me to get on here, right? And just, I don't understand. Like, what do you expect? Like, yo, I'm reading the paperwork. He probably do, man. Brian probably do think Charleston White for the community. He probably do. Like, yo, what are you talking about, man? Like, yo, we reading the lawsuits sound crazy. They sound crazy, yo. Do we gotta go back and revisit some of them? Do we gotta go back and revisit some of these lawsuits? See, he's paraphrasing. Yo, I read the whole lawsuit. Man, I hope my paperwork lady watching. I read the whole lawsuit, y'all. Not the paraphrasing shit. He's reading excerpts from the lawsuit. Yeah, like, yo, a lot of these people are sex workers. Now, did he probably have done some wrong? He probably done some wrong, but they don't deserve life in prison, man. You must have just got here. Rewind the video, right? And listen to what his defense just said of the prosecution. And the evidence that they don't have. They don't have evidence, y'all.
Very ominous statement, given what the plaintiff says happened next, because the complaint reads, once plaintiff sat back down, the casting director offered him an alcoholic drink, which he declined. She then offered him a Diet Coke in a glass, which he drank, but noted that it tasted strange. At that point, plaintiff realized the casting director was the only female in the room. The conversation continued regarding the music video and shooting schedule, but as time passed, plaintiff began to feel dizzy and nauseous. He asked to use the bathroom because he felt like he might pass out. Shortly after that, plaintiff did in fact pass out. Based on information and belief, Combs, by himself or through his agents, employees previously, laced plaintiff's drink with drugs, including, but not limited to,
yo, look how vague the fuck can it see this shit?
GHB.
How the fuck that shit look like that? Hold on. Based on information and belief. What does that mean, y'all? What does information and belief? Like, this is what I be talking about. Based on information and belief. Yo, that means nothing. In the grand scheme of things, information and belief means nothing. What information? Where did you get this information from? Who told you this? Like, you gotta be specific, yo, when you want somebody to believe you. Based off information and belief. That's what a lot of people is doing in the comments. Based off information and belief, Diddy is guilty. But not based off the facts. Just information and belief. That's it.
And or ecstasy. That theme of alleged drugging is a constant through line in both the criminal allegations and the civil allegations. And we have to warn you that this next part is incredibly tough. The complaint reads, plaintiff came to in a twilight state, still dizzy and nauseous, but semi-conscious and disoriented. As plaintiff tried to get his bearings, he realized he was laying face down across a large ottoman with his head and arms hanging off of one side and the lower half of his body hanging off the other. His pants were pulled down to his ankles and his shirt was pulled over his head. He felt a great deal of pain and realized as he looked back that he was being anally sodomized by Combs. His vision was blurry, but he recognized Combs' chest tattoo and the large gold...
Yo, come on now. Y'all believe this? Y'all believe this? This is the shit I'm saying. Yo, we talking about a guy, yo, that can have sex with whoever the fuck he want to, male or female, I guess. Y'all believe that Diddy drugged this person. This person drugged. But listen to the shit. This the funny part about all these lawsuits. They always drugged. They always dizzy. They always disoriented. But they all remember Diddy. Like yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, can't people see what happens? These lawsuits is playing on people's emotions. People is not using common sense. Everybody is dizzy. Everybody is disoriented. Everybody is drugged. Everybody is confused. But they all remember Diddy. Nobody else but Diddy. Like, yo, come on, yo. Come on, yo. Can people use common sense, y'all? And stop being emotional? Yo, you $1,000 a baby oil not illegal.
Gold chain with a jeweled cross on it that Combs wore during the interview. Plaintiff tried to fight him off, but felt dizzy and sick whenever he tried to move. Additionally, Combs' bodyguard was holding plaintiff down by the arms. John Doe then described.
So where's the bodyguard? Why is the bodyguard not being sued? Why is the casting director that gave him the drink not being sued? Why is it just Diddy? Why is it just Diddy? Like nobody, yo, this the thing, y'all. Question everything. Question everything. Like, don't ever just take what these motherfuckers say and just be like, oh shit, this man, they said it, it's real. Yo, ask real questions. You got the casting director that gave him the Coca-Cola that was laced through information and belief. It was laced. Then you got the bodyguard who held his arms down. Held his arms down while Diddy did who knows what to him. But none of them are mentioned. None of them are arrested. None of them are getting sued. Come on, man. Let's keep it real, y'all. We're 15-year-old, man. We're 14-year-old.
Further alleged assaults in graphic detail, claiming multiple men raped him that day. He says he could hear other people in the room laughing and talking. Believes that he saw camera flashes at one point.
Yo, that's not a... So this person was getting raped in front of the whole party. The whole party. The whole party. He just getting odd in front of the whole party. Saw camera flashes. People laughing and joking. Yo, know what that sounds like, y'all? What do that sound like to y'all? This is what I'm trying to explain to y'all, y'all. That sounds like a person that was paid. That's what that sounds like, man. If that really happened, if it really happened, that sounds like you was paid to do a job. You was paid to do a job in front of everybody. They taking pictures. So you got all these people taking pictures. It's photo evidence of this. Laughing, joking. And not one person. Not one person. Come on, y'all. That person's paid, man. Somebody's another motherfucking sex toy. That's what these lawsuits is. These are people. Let me go to this damn photo. These are people that was paid to do a job. They was paid to do a job. Now they trying to double back and say that that Diddy did all these wild things to him. And, nah, man. That shit bullshit. Where the fuck that shit at? I'm trying to find that, Just looked at that shit yesterday. Or was that the day before yesterday? Trying to find that photo. What the fuck you saying it's a fucking child? I hate when I can't find shit when I'm looking for, man. That shit be pissing me off, man. Gotta be up here somewhere. God damn it. Here you go. Here you go, that photo. This like a 14-year-old girl to you, bro. That's like a 14-year-old to you. 14-year-old. All of these people is just sitting here eating off a 14-year-old. Like, man, come on now, man. All these people. It don't say it's a 14-year-old right here. She was served on a naked woman. I don't think you talk 14-year-old women. For guests to eat off of. She had only a piece of sheer vinyl covering the front of her body. It says naked, it says woman. Like, yo, why people's like, yo, come on, bro. Like, yo, we don't do misinformation over here, man.
And John Doe claims that he passed out multiple times before he was finally able to regain control of his body and get up. The complaint says, embarrassed and violated, plaintiff tried to cover himself up and started looking for his clothes. Once he found his pants, shirt, and shoes, he ran for the door without his underwear and also...
Where's the photo? Hey, Brian, where's the photo? Where's the photo, Brian? Yeah, we ready to find a photo for Brian, y'all. Everybody, thank Brian. Because Brian, let me know where I can find this photo at. Please. Because you saying it, that means it should be easily looked up. Because it don't exist, Dash Dodger. Everybody heard this conversation in prison. Now you change this. So you trolling, bro. Come on, Edwin. Stop trolling, y'all. Just saying shit. We deal with facts over here, man. Because it don't exist, Dash Dodger. It don't exist. This is the photo. This is the photo right here. It's a grown woman. This is the photo. This is the photo right here. This is the photo right here. I was proving a point. It don't exist.
So without one of his prized possessions, a commemorative leather jacket that he got from working as a stuntman on the film RoboCop. Plaintiff never saw that jacket again. As he ran out, he heard
I think it's only one photo that got released.
Hope you had fun. He goes on to say that the doorman helped plaintiff get a cab and he returned to his room at his hotel.
Now listen to this though, y'all. Like, oh, these are sex workers, y'all. These are sex workers.
Plaintiff never saw that jacket again. As related, plaintiff tried to cover himself. Holmes' bodyguard was holding plaintiff down by the arms. John Doe then describes further alleged assaults in graphic detail, claiming multiple men raped him that day. He says he could hear other people in the room laughing and talking, believes that he saw camera flashes at one point.
This is a sex worker. He got paid to do a job. Like, how can people see that? Everybody laughing and joking and taking pay. He's a sex worker. Got paid to do a job. Yo, what's going on is, yo, it's sex workers paid to do a job, and now they're trying to sue. And I don't even think they're trying to sue. I think they're just using this, you know, to damage the jury pool. I think it's all bullshit because you know what, y'all? We are the jury pool. We the jury pool. So if I can convict him in public opinion, I can stomp on him in court. I can stomp on him in court. What the hey, Dad, you ain't just say that. What am I paying you for? What am I paying you for? It's not that you can do whatever you want. I'm paying you for a service. You can either take the money or don't take the money. Take it or don't. But you can't take the money, then come back and say I was art. Come on, man. That shit don't go like that, man. It don't go like that, y'all. How you know? It sounds like it. It sounds like that was the service. For people to be laughing and taking pictures. That sounds like that was the service, man. Yo, but them being forced into prostitution ain't Diddy problem. Like, Diddy ain't the one forced them into prostitution. The government showed no evidence of that. Still today. He been locked up for 3 months. They got 6 discovery packets. He got 6 discovery packets. They have shown no evidence of sex trafficking. 0.
And John Doe claims that he passed out multiple times before he was finally able to regain control of his body.
Yeah, that's what it is, no heart.
Complaint says embarrassed and violated, plaintiff tried to cover himself up and started looking for his clothes. Once he found his pants, shirt, and shoes, he ran for the door without his underwear and also without one of his prized possessions, a commemorative leather jacket that he got from working as a stuntman on the film RoboCop. Plaintiff never saw that jacket again. As he ran out, he heard someone near the door laugh and say, "Hope you had fun." He goes on to say that the doorman helped plaintiff get a cab and he returned to his room at his hotel where plaintiff...
So they argued him, they helped him get a cab. That's what they did, y'all. That sounded like the service was over. Service was over. Hope you had fun. All right, do it, man. Get him a cab out of here. That's what that is, man. But they sensationalize it, to make it seem like it's something that it ain't. Hey Vic, that's what it was though, bro. Like, that's what it was. Hope you had fun. Hey, cab man, get him out of here. We finished for the night. Call you back if we need you again. That's what it is, bro. Yo, who gets art and sit around? Who gets art and sit around and waits for a cab? No, I think I know how to work. I know how the world works very well. Very well. Who sit around and gets art and waits for a cab by the same people that art them? By the same people that art them. I'm going to sit here comfortably and I'm going to wait for a cab. And then when I get home, I'm going to cry and do all this stuff. Like, yo, come on, yo. Can we be real? Nobody's kicking you out. What are you talking about? Nobody kicked you out. You still here? Yo, we don't block nobody. Nobody gets blocked over here. Nobody gets blocked over here.
Vomited and cried all night, replaying the trauma of what had just happened. He feared others' disbelief and or the perpetrator's retaliation if he told anyone.
Right, Randy. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry, wait 34 years and sue. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I know people don't like Diddy. I'm not even a fan of Diddy. I think Diddy did horrible business. I don't like how Diddy treated Cassie. Yeah, but I ain't going to sit here and let the system railroad him and participate in it. Man, fuck no. Because I dislike the system more.
Fun. He goes on to say that the doorman helped plaintiff get a cab and he returned to his room at his hotel where plaintiff vomited and cried all night, replaying the trauma of what had just happened. He feared others' disbelief and or the perpetrator's retaliation if he told anyone.
Everybody just so fucking scared. You home now. How did they even know you? This shit.
In the aftermath of the assault, plaintiff struggled with intense emotional pain and mental health issues, feeling disgusted.
Never went to the hospital.
Depressed. Plaintiff has experienced a significant impact.
This person got gang art. This person got gang art by several men. Never went to the hospital. Never went to the. How can you? Is that even possible? Yo, is that even possible? This is a guy. Is that possible? Yeah, we don't do no blocking. Can somebody answer? Is that possible to get gang art by several men and don't seek medical treatment? Come on now, y'all. People can't be that fucking green. Right. Come on now, y'all. People can't be that green. Now, where the comments at? Now they sit back thinking now, like, damn, that do sound extremely far-fetched. They're like, and everything they said, they sit back like, damn, that do sound far-fetched. Ganged all by several men, no police contact. Come on now. No hospital stays. Man, y'all crazy as hell. They is sex workers, man. They sex workers.
Impact on his personal life. He is never married and often struggles to maintain relationships due to the assault.
The sex workers, man.
Now, John Doe is suing Motivated Violence Protection Act. This is something we've talked about before.
Everybody's suing under
this
that
alleged
act.
assault happened in 2001. John Doe's legal team is arguing that the GMVA would apply in this case, where the requirement that the crime of violence be committed because of gender or on the basis of gender and due at least in part to an animus based on the victim's gender, that is satisfied, they say, because defendant Combs forced plaintiff to engage in a sexual interaction without consent. Now, there is a look-back window to sue for these kinds of claims because when under normal circumstances, the statute of limitations would have expired and you can't bring a lawsuit, people can use this now to sue, and they can sue until February 2025. And this protection, by the way, not only allows plaintiffs to recover damages, but they can also recover attorney's fees and costs. That's an advantage here. Now I want to move on to another lawsuit. This one is from a Jane Doe who lives in Maryland now and accuses Sean Combs of sexual assault in 2001. The complaint states that in 2001, plaintiff, who was 18 years old at the time, and her cousin attended a Halloween party held at Club New Yorker in Manhattan. Combs and his entourage also attended the party and provided drinks to plaintiff and her friends throughout the night. During the Halloween party, one of Combs' security guards escorted plaintiff and two friends to a large black SUV limousine parked within walking distance of the club.
Yo, you see the gap? Look, in 2001, plaintiff, who was 18 years old at the time, and her cousin attended a Halloween party held at Club New York in Manhattan. Combs and entourage also attended the party. They provided drinks to plaintiff and her friends throughout the night. It's a huge gap in this. The next thing you know, one of Combs' security guards escorted plaintiff. Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? You and your cousin just bumped into Diddy. They let you in their section. It don't sound like it was any conversation or nothing. It was just like, come with us. And next thing you know, during the Halloween party, one of Combs' security guards escorted plaintiff and two friends to a large black SUV limousine parked within the distance of the club. They entered the vehicle and saw Combs sitting in the back. So, hold on. So Combs didn't walk with him. Combs didn't walk with him. He was already in the car. So they just walked with these security men to a limousine with Combs awaiting. Like, oh, come on now, y'all. Let's keep it real, man. Use common sense, man.
And saw Combs sitting in the back. At least 6 members of Combs' security team were also in the limousine. One of the men handed plaintiff a drink, Minutes later, she began feeling dizzy, intoxicated, and disoriented. She felt as though she was unable to control her own actions. Based on information and belief, Combs, by himself or through his agents, employees, previously laced the drink with drugs, including but not limited to...
Look, based on information and belief again. There go that phrase. Based on information and belief means nothing. That means nothing, y'all. Like, that's what I'm saying, yo. People are getting tricked by wordplay. One of the men handed plaintiff a drink. Minutes later, she began feeling dizzy, intoxicated, and disoriented. Yo, she got in the car to do what the fuck she was there to do. She felt as though she was unable to control her own actions. Based on information and belief, Combs by himself or through his agents, employees, previously laced the drinks with drugs, including but not limited to GHB or ecstasy. Let's continue.
To GHB and or ecstasy, so you can see similar language.
Right.
Combs allegedly ordered her to perform oral sex on one of his security guards, and then she also claims that she was forced to perform oral sex on Combs too. Quote, in the aftermath of the assault, plaintiff...
So he ordered her to have sex, have oral sex with the security guard, but then she was forced to have sex with him.
Struggled with intense emotional pain and mental health issues, feeling disgusted and deeply depressed, with symptoms of post-traumatic stress. She is also suing for violations of New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. Another Jane Doe says that she was attacked, this time in 2004, also in Manhattan. She says she was a 17-year-old model at the time and went to a model...
Yo, all you have to do, yo, all you got to do, yo, is if you had any interactions with Diddy, you can file a lawsuit. If you was in the same club as Diddy at any point in life, you can reach out to Tony Busby, and they will put together a whole fucking scenario for you. Especially, or if you got a picture, that's great. If you got a picture with Diddy, you can get paid. Or not even get paid, because I don't think none of these people getting paid. But you can file a lawsuit. These lawsuits is for nothing more than to damage the jury pool. Yo, we don't even know if they fucking real or not. Because everybody under John Doe's and Jane Doe's, where are the people coming out showing face? The one lady that showed face got, you see what the fuck they did to her. The bodyguard said she was lying. Her ex-boyfriend said she was lying. Y'all remember that, right? I know we covered that here. And provided text messages proving she was lying. What's up, David?
Modeling gig where she was approached by two men who gave her a flyer for a party. The lawsuit says that the party turned out to be one of defendant Combs' infamous 4th of July parties at his estate in the Hamptons.
Hey, yo, that's a good point.
That's a point.
That's a good point.
Entertainment, fashion, and business worlds, and this one was no different. The event was lavishly decorated, featured live performances, music performances, and boasted top-tier food and beverages, an atmosphere of opulence and luxury, full of celebrities.
I told my girl to sue his ass.
Individuals like plaintiff were recruited to attend these parties. When plaintiff arrived, Combs' staff at the front door required her to hand over her purse and her cell phone prior to entering. Now, this is something that we've heard before, that guests at Combs' parties had to surrender their phone.
Well, why wouldn't he in every single party? Why is just some parties? And he always mentioned this, but yo, how many lawsuits when that didn't happen? So is that protocol, is it not? Or they just pick and choose when phones and stuff got to be taken? That's what I'm telling you. A long crime is here, yo, just to push narratives. What happens is, yo, since everybody can cover media, long crime was the equalizer. We're going to send all the news to them. They're going to cover everything the bloggers are covering, but they're going to cover it for the way we want them to cover it. That's why they get so much traction.
And sometimes even it was reported they had to sign non-disclosure agreements before they were allowed in. The complaint continues. Plaintiff recognized numerous celebrities in attendance as she walked around the party. Servers circulated through the rooms of the mansions with trays of drinks, and plaintiff decided to have one. Shortly after drinking it, plaintiff began to feel lightheaded and disoriented. Now, what's alarming about that is if that's true, she just took a random drink and it was potentially laced. I mean, that's the insinuation, right? And that's different than a drink being deliberately handed to her. So again, if true, were all the drinks at this party just laced with drugs? That was my initial impression from this. Quote, as she grew increasingly disoriented, plaintiff searched for a place to sit.
Look, so what he just did was, he knew that shit didn't make no fucking sense. So he tried to add some logic to it, but that his logic didn't even make sense. Who the fuck just pick up drinks and drink them?
She just took a random drink and it was their phones. And sometimes even it was reported they had to sign non-disclosure agreements before they were allowed in. The complaint continues. Plaintiff recognized numerous celebrities in attendance as she walked around the party. Servers circulated through the rooms of the mansions with trays of drinks, and plaintiff decided to have one. Shortly after drinking it, plaintiff began to feel lightheaded and disoriented.
So all the drinks was laced. Every drink at the party that night was laced. Okay.
Now, what's alarming about that is if that's true, she just took a random drink and it was potentially laced. I mean, that's the insinuation, right? And that's different than a drink being deliberately handed to her. So again, if true, were all the drinks at this party just laced with drugs?
It would have had to be.
That was my initial impression from this.
It had to be.
As she grew increasingly disoriented, plaintiff searched for a place to sit. She stumbled to a couch and promptly lost consciousness. When she awoke, plaintiff's underwear was missing, and she felt throbbing pains in her private areas, let me just say that. At this point, plaintiff was alone, and she could not find the friend who had accompanied her to the party. In a state of panic.
Where did friend go at? Yo, this is the second time where a friend just disappeared. Yo, women don't do that to each other, man. Yo, women stay close if they real friends. Yo, women do not. Is any women right here watching? Can y'all verify? Yo, do women ditch each other at parties? I be seeing girls hold hands. They be in like a chain. You heard me? Like when I used to go out and shit, they be all holding each other. They walk through the club like that. They don't be ditching each other, man. But nobody wants to use common sense.
Panic, she began to hyperventilate and cry. The complaint goes on to state that Combs and two of his bodyguards approached plaintiff and threatened her. Combs told plaintiff that she would be in danger if she spoke about what had occurred, stating that he ran New York and would ruin her.
When did the assault come? What happened to the assault? Did we miss the assault?
In a state of panic, she began to hyperventilate and cry. The complaint goes on to state that Combs and two of his bodyguards approached plaintiff and threatened her. Combs told plaintiff that she would be in danger if she spoke about what had occurred, stating that he ran New York and would ruin her. At this point, plaintiff recognized that at least Combs had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious.
Get the fuck out of here, yo. Yo, come the fuck on, yo. Yo, we can't be this fucking stupid as people. That makes sense to people. That makes sense to people. She woke up. Let's go back again, y'all. She woke up all fucked up, disoriented, and Diddy just happened to approach her. Out of all the people at the party, this is a whole party. But Diddy, yo, but he would say that. But I'm talking about the everything beforehand.
At this point, plaintiff was alone, and she could not find the friend who had accompanied her to the party. In a state of panic, she began to hyperventilate and cry. The complaint goes on to state.
I think it's a lot of truth mixed with false, like Woody, like how he was snitching and telling the truth. He was lying and telling the truth. I think it's a lot of that going on. They substituting facts with lies.
That Combs and two of his bodyguards approached plaintiff and threatened her. Combs told plaintiff that she would be in danger if she spoke about what had occurred, stating that he ran New York and would.
Oh, we missing something, yo. We must be missing the assault.
Plaintiff began to feel lightheaded and disoriented. Now, what's alarming about that is if that's true, she just took a random drink and it was potentially laced. I mean, that's the insinuation, right? And that's different than a drink being deliberately handed to her. So again, if true, Were all the drinks at this party just laced with drugs? That was my initial impression from this. Quote, as she grew increasingly disoriented, plaintiff searched for a place to sit. She stumbled to a couch and promptly lost consciousness. When she awoke, plaintiff's underwear was missing, and she felt throbbing pains in her private areas, let me just say that. At this point, plaintiff was alone, and she could not find the friend who had accompanied her to the party.
So the friend sat there and allowed whatever that happened to her happened to her. The friend just allowed it. Okay.
In a state of panic, she began to hyperventilate and cry. The complaint goes on to state that Combs and 2 of his bodyguards approached plaintiff.
So she woke up. So she woke up crying with no underwear on, and Diddy and his 2 bodyguards just approached her. Why would they do that? If they just did that to her, why would they want to? Now that she's conscious, right? Why would they then approach her? Now, who would do that? Now you just implicated yourself in a crime. Why would they then approach her after she was just unconscious and now conscious? Why wouldn't they just leave her alone? Let her figure out who did it. Why would I introduce myself? You understand? Why would he introduce himself as a motherfucking suspect?
And threatened her. Combs told plaintiff that she would be in danger if she spoke about what had occurred, stating that he ran New York and would ruin her. At this point, plaintiff recognized that at least Combs had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious. She feared for her life.
No, they not, man.
Plaintiff was coerced into agreeing not to contact the police in exchange for the return of her purse and phone. She agreed out of fear of what would happen if she did not. In the aftermath of the assault...
Yo, so she got assaulted. And to get her purse and phone back, she agreed not to call the police. And didn't call the police once she got her phone back? Plaintiff was coerced into agreeing not to contact the police in exchange for her return of her purse and phone. She agreed out of fear of what would have happened if she did not.
Of what would happen if she did not. In the aftermath of the assault, plaintiff experienced and continues to experience intense emotional pain and mental health issues, including post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. And Jane Doe also cited the GMVA as her cause of action. Moving on to the 4th new lawsuit, a plaintiff who now lives in Georgia makes claims that he says happened much more recently, 2022, when he was 39 years old.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all these lawsuits. I'm gonna get all of them because he only reads excerpts. I guarantee when we read the whole lawsuit, that shit is gonna be totally different.
In New York City, went with friends, drank alcohol that was provided to him, and John Doe says he blacked out. When plaintiff regained consciousness, he was in a dark bedroom with black walls on a bed with black sheets. Everything around him was dark. Plaintiff was horrified to find Combs.
What the fuck? They just jumped straight into it on this one. God damn. What led to that?
When plaintiff regained consciousness, he was in a dark bedroom that he says happened much more recently, 2022, when he was 39 years old.
Damn.
Says he went to a DIDDY party at a large home in New York City.
You're too old for
Went with
that.
friends, drank alcohol that was provided to him, and John Doe says he blacked out. When plaintiff regained consciousness, he was in a dark bedroom with black walls on a bed with black sheets. Everything around him was dark. Plaintiff was horrified to find Combs on top of him, sodomizing him. Plaintiff, in a state of shock and confusion, forcefully fought Combs off and fled the room, making his way to a nearby bathroom. Despite still being in a dazed, disoriented state, plaintiff fled the house in an effort to escape the situation as quickly as possible. He didn't return to the party after the assault, but plaintiff was traumatized by the assault and continues to experience severe emotional distress as a result of what he endured at Combs' hands.
And that's it. That's it and that's all. There, plaintiff discovered. He said he fought Combs off and fled to the room. Making his way to a nearby bathroom. There, plaintiff discovered that his blank was bleeding and he was still feeling severely disoriented. Despite being dazed, disoriented state, plaintiff fled the house in an effort to escape the situation as quickly as possible. He did not return to the party after the assault. Plaintiff was traumatized by the assault and continues to experience severe emotional distress as a result of what he endured at Combs' hands. Okay?
John Doe is also filing under the GMVA. But there is something I have to tell you about this lawsuit, and that is that lawsuit was just dismissed. Yes, the judge said that the plaintiff here failed to get the court's permission to file this anonymously as a John Doe. This is an issue we've seen before in other cases against.
Damn, that was quick. Why you read it then? You understand what I'm saying? Why he read it then? Why he read it then? This is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Why did he read it? It was dismissed. You had enough time to edit this extra part into the video. Why didn't you just edit the whole part out instead of reading it? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. What Law and Crime is here for. Law and Crime is here to push agendas. Their blog site. They're like Keeping G News, but not as authentic as Keeping G News because they push agendas. And the agenda is Muddy Diddy's name. That's the agenda. At all costs, throw mud on that motherfucker. Why would they do that? Logically. What logical reason would you read a lawsuit that you know was dismissed? You had enough time to edit the part in that say it was dismissed, but you didn't edit the part out that read the lawsuit? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, man. I'd have never done no shit like that. I'd just scrapped the whole video. If I did a video about this lawsuit, and in the process, I found out that the lawsuit was fugazi, the video never would have came out.
Sean Combs, where courts have said the plaintiffs, they have to reveal their identities if they want this to proceed. Here, it seems to be an issue that this plaintiff never even got permission from the court to do so. So we'll see what happens next. Now this brings us to the fifth lawsuit. And this actually doesn't cite the GMVA as a cause of action. Instead, a Florida John Doe is suing all the plaintiffs for assault and sexual assault. And his lawsuit states, in 2022, plaintiff mingled and spent time with associates of Combs' businesses at a popular Miami nightclub. He did not consume alcohol at the nightclub. After spending some time with these individuals, an associate of Combs invited plaintiff to an after-hours event being hosted by Combs at a residential home. After arriving, plaintiff entered the residence and joined the other partygoers. Plaintiff saw about 45 to 50 people, many of whom were recognizable public figures. While mingling and making small talk with others, an associate of Combs approached plaintiff, indicating that Combs wanted to meet with him. The associate took plaintiff upstairs, where Combs greeted him with a drink and offered a tour of the house. Plaintiff obliged and began following Combs around the home. The tour came to an end in a bedroom.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all remember when I was talking about Trey Songz? And I seen Trey Songz send his security to get a girl. Get her for me. She go with him wherever they go. That's protocol. If that happened, you know why that happened. You know why that happened. He picked you to go with him. And you went. You didn't just go to take a tour of the house. That's not how that game worked. You went because you was chosen. But now these same people are now trying to say they was victims. I witnessed that happen in the club with Trey, and the girl's from Baltimore. She sees this video. She didn't know what the fuck. I'm out DC. She was right there, standing in front of VIP. Bodyguard picked her up. Let Trey Songz want you.
The bedroom smelled strongly of marijuana. 5 other individuals, 3 men, 2 women, apart from Combs and plaintiff, were inside of the room as well. As plaintiff and Combs entered the room, Combs demanded the women perform sexual dances and acts on the other 3 men. Around this time, plaintiff suddenly felt weak and disoriented, unlike anything he had ever experienced with alcohol before. As plaintiff's condition worsened and he began to fall in and out of consciousness, plaintiff knew he had been drugged. John Doe says he passed out. When he awoke, he was naked. He says that he saw Combs sexually assaulting him. Plaintiff recalls Combs telling him, "This is what you want," all while wearing, quote, "a disturbing smile." John Doe says that he passed out again, and when he woke up, he was still in the bedroom, but he was alone. Plaintiff woke the next morning in the same bedroom alone, almost immediately, as if someone could see inside of the room through a camera or other device.
Jesus Christ.
A member of Combs' security team entered, handed plaintiff his clothes, and instructed him to get dressed and prepare to leave the residence.
Yo, this shit is crazy on murder.
Interesting and frightening, because we've heard from various people in these civil lawsuits that Combs had cameras all over his house and was obsessive about filming things. But again, this John Doe is suing for assault and a sexual assault under Florida law. Defending Combs with the assistance and conspiracy of his businesses intentionally or knowingly caused physical contact, including the sexual assault with plaintiff, when defending Combs knew and should have known that plaintiff would regard such contact as offensive. By the way, you sue the businesses, not just Sean Combs. Obviously, he's very wealthy, but you go after the businesses. They have deeper pockets, too. By the way, one of the reasons he might be suing for assault and sexual assault is there might not be a statute of limitations issue. This is just a few years ago. And you also might say these assault claims
right, Daddy.
Are more
I didn't peep that. Right.
By the way, speaking of Tony Busby, he's gotten himself into a bit of hot water.
They say he woke up alone, went back to sleep, and woke up again in the morning. The fuck out of here, man. That man knew what he was there to do, man. Like, yo, this shit is crazy, man.
We've talked about this because in prior lawsuits that were filed by him on behalf of alleged victims, he has named people like Celebrity A or Celebrity B, who in one case allegedly participated in assaults. And Busby had previously promised that he was going to expose A-list people that were allegedly involved in Combs' criminal
Tony
activity.
Busby and Gloria Allred.
So far, that hasn't happened. And an anonymous prominent person says that is because Tony Busby is extorting the high-profile people. This person, identified as John Doe, says that Tony Busby is making up false stories about serious crimes like sexual assault and rape, and then threatening to tell the public and file lawsuits if these people don't pay up. It's
basically what he doing to Diddy. He ain't ready to say that, though. Let's see what he ready to say.
Basically extortion. Settle or you get named. Settle or you get exposed. And there was a lawsuit that was filed in Los Angeles on Monday by this John Doe, and he describes himself as just a high-profile individual who knows P. Diddy, and he's attended events with him. He's being represented by Quinn Emanuel, a very powerful law firm. And the firm released a statement about the lawsuit saying Busby has established a pattern of leveling baseless, fabricated, and malicious allegations at high-profile individuals and threatening to name them publicly if they fail to pay exorbitant sums of money. Busby then uses this money to fund his lavish lifestyle. He has deployed these threats in letters, statements to the press, his website, and on social media in recent months to try to shake down these well-known individuals.
Come on now. And y'all gonna believe anything? And y'all gonna believe anything? This is another lawyer firm saying it's about a lawyer. They don't even like doing shit like that. And people gonna believe anything that's coming from him. That man's a fucking slime ball, man. He's a slime ball. He ain't no different than Gloria Allred, a slime ball. They with the play. Whenever it's a play, whenever it's a tech, we gonna get these people. Tony Busby is the same lawyer that filed 100 cases against Deshaun Watson. When Deshaun Watson decided to leave the Houston Texans, they hit him with all them motherfucking cases. Get Busby on the line. That's what he do, man. He's a fucking piece of shit. Like, for lack of better words, that's what he is. He makes up frivolous claims, frivolous lawsuits, in order to shake down individuals and threatening to name them publicly if they fail to pay exuberant sums of money. Busby then uses this money to fund his lavish lifestyle. He has developed these threats and letters, deployed these threats and letters, statements to the press, his website, and on social media in recent months to try to shake down these well-known individuals. That's what they say. And that's what he's doing. He's doing it to Diddy.
Tony Busby denied the accusations, fired back, saying the lawsuit is just an attempt to stop him from doing his job, And he released a statement to the Houston Chronicle saying these claims are without legal merit, that they're laughable. He said, "We won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence sexual assault survivors. It is obvious that the frivolous lawsuit filed against my firm is an aggressive attempt to intimidate or silence me and ultimately my clients. That effort is a gross miscalculation. I'm a U.S. Marine. I won't be silenced or intimidated." And I actually spoke with former prosecutor Melba Pearson this week about this and how she would fight this if it were her.
It is standard in terms of reaching out and saying, "Hey, listen, I've been contacted by someone who is looking to file a lawsuit against you, whatever. Here's where we think we're going.
Right.
Do you want to settle?
Right,
Let's settle right now before we even put anyone through this drama, before we have to make the survivor testify, before we have to do depositions."
It's
and
like
maybe we could just settle right off the bat.
What's the guy name?
That's normal, right?
Like, what's it called?
But that fear, and I'm with you on that, Jesse, that fear of, I could fight this, but I'm going to lose so much more
exactly.
in the long
You know, like when a rabbit got
that
the
could
gun.
be a deterrent and would make someone pay up. But at the same token, I'm hopeful that if you are wrongfully being accused of this, I mean, if it was me, heaven forbid, I think I would go on the offensive and name myself. I would come out and say, "Listen, I have been, Tony Busby reached out to me saying that so-and-so alleged that I did XYZ to them. I categorically deny it." And basically, you come out on the offensive before anything gets filed, so that could maybe deter the case from moving forward, possibly.
And by the way, you can check out that full interview with Melba over on our Long Crime YouTube channel. Love talking to Melba. She's the best. So for now, it's unclear what impact, if any, these explosive lawsuits will have on Sean Combs' federal case. It's very likely that the government investigators have spoken with these alleged victims, or they will.
Yo, we just read a document. We just read a document from the defense attorneys that said the United States government has proven no facts that any sexual trafficking has went on. No sex trafficking. Not a statement, not a letter, not a paragraph, nothing. Nothing. Yo, people gotta understand, yo, the rich and famous live different lives than we do. They live different lives than we do, man. And a lot of things they do, they have these wild parties. But everybody in attendance know. You know what it is? We know what this party about. So you can't go there and then turn around and try to play victim. Like you ain't know what was going on or you wasn't prepared for the event. Man, fuck out of here. They probably can't wait to go to the next one. But what's going on right now is, since Diddy have had a lot of these parties, and these parties are not freak-offs, they're using the fact that he had a lot of these parties, and if you attended a party or two, then here's your chance. Sue his ass. That's what's going on, y'all. Martina, what it is? Yeah, y'all. That's what's up, Rick? Yeah, you right, know how that's a dangerous game, yo. Like people think it's funny until them motherfuckers do that shit to you. See, I've been done dirty by the system before. Like that shit ain't that that shit not cool, yo. I ain't never had no allegations like this on me, like Diddy. But at the end of the day, yo, they doing them dirty. They making up shit. They killing them in public opinion. And then got mad when he tried to defend himself. So it's like, yo, we can all play this game. If y'all want to try to kill me in public opinion, I'm gonna defend myself in the public. But they tried to get the judge to say that he couldn't do it, and the judge disagreed. But y'all, we go back again live, 11 p.m. Eastern time. What's that? 2.5 hours. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Check out my uploads. It's another day. Keep your news with everybody that's rocking out. And I'm out.